Let's run through a bunch of the other NFL action. We showed you Kansas City losing and the Eagles getting blown out yesterday. Rex, how about the Steelers losing to the Cardinals? What one word do we use for the Steelers now?
Frauds.
They're frauds.
They're frauds, man. How do you score 10 points at home against the 30th ranked defense? Like, that's ridiculous. Here's the funny thing. We're going to watch them in the playoffs.
We're going to watch them. Well,
We're going to watch them in the playoffs.
Take that back, Ricky Bobby.
The committee would take them out. If we put together a committee, we wouldn't let the Steelers in because we don't like their quarterback play. The Steelers, look, I mean, as bad as they've been, their record remains a playoff-worthy record. Are they going to make the playoffs?
I don't think so. I think the AFC there are some tougher teams coming up. There's not going to be enough spots. They're definitely not going to win the division, I don't think. I think that at some point, the way that the Texans are playing, someone else is going to get that third wild card spot, and I think the Steelers might fall back.
The quarterback injury, Pickett's got an ankle. Sounds like it's going to be weeks.
Yeah, I think if you're Pittsburgh right now, specifically to Kenny Pickett, number one, just kind of played average. We didn't know if it was him or the offense. It certainly seems to be both. Number two, he's gotten injured in back-to-back seasons now. So you're trying to get a guy to play better, develop, go on a playoff run, and now he's unavailable. This offense is still disconnected. The quarterback has been average. There's no connectivity. They run the ball well with two tight ends on the field. They don't do anything else with two or three tight ends on the field. So, yeah. Playoff defense.
That was the play where he got hurt, where he slams his head into the turf and somehow hurt his ankle. I was sure that it was something else.
That's when you've been hit hard.
Everything hurts, yeah.
You got hit in the head and your ankle is broken.
Yeah.
But one way or another, Steelers, awful. Texans, you mentioned. That was a great game yesterday with the Broncos. Show me some tape on Houston and this quarterback.
First of all, I love their play-action game. So 12 personnel, one back and two tight ends. Now watch how good C.J. Stroud is here. Backside go route, okay? The defense is in quarters coverage, meaning every guy in the secondary is a quarter of the field. Cut it in quarters, okay? Now, CJ knows the backside safety is the paramount guy. See how he's closed, back is to us? He's peeking to the field. That basically turns the bottom go route one-on-one. I love his hitch. His shoulders don't go up or down. There's balance in a beautiful, essentially, go route. So the understanding in their play-action game. Second of all, you want to talk about pocket presence. Watch how he moves in the pocket here. Back foot never moves. Resets with just the front leg. I stay downfield. Resets again, and then finds a guy downfield. That's pocket poise. Operational space movement. This is one of my favorite plays of the weekend. Look how he does. He's going to climb the pocket here on 3rd and 11 once. And then he's going to go like, I got bad people around me. Climb it again. I stay downfield. Guys, this is a no-look now. This is a no-look to Collins. Not only is it a no-look on the run, it's freaking perfect. So the understanding in their play-action game, the ability to see the defense, the pocket poise, the operational space, he is absolutely pure. We just talked about Pittsburgh again. I pray to Jesus that this team gets
and the leadership. He's got a moxie, right?
He does. He has everything that you want for a leader team. There's been an overall cultural change in that organization. I think it's partially him. It's partially the coach. They believe in him. They love him. And I would want to play. If I still had operational needs, I would want to go play for that guy.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. But Rex, what is one way that they remind us of Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez?
They got a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback. And you know what? Let's see if they get to a championship game, because they may very well, because they're going to do it differently. But this guy right here, oh, my God, he is absolutely
You know what they do a good
legit.
job of, too, on offense? Is they're not great at running the ball, but they don't run away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they get 2 or 3 yards, it allows their rookie quarterback to not get in brutal situations. Now, on 3rd down, he's awesome. DeMeco Ryans should be top 3 head coach of the year, you know, but they're, it's really good on offense right now in Houston.
Is playing well, too. They're getting better as the year goes along, which is something that you expect out of
that Tank Dell injury, though, is
good point.
Absolutely massive.
Texans are legit, though, and that was a big win against a team that has been playing great in Denver. And then one more, and it's legit is the interesting word to use here with the Lions, because Dominique, they open up a 21-0 lead against the Saints yesterday. You figure, okay, this is the Detroit we've been waiting for. Then they have to hold on for dear life at the end. What do we say?
Yeah, their offense is legit. Their O-line is legit. But their defense is not, because their pass rush is not good. They're not going to be a serious contender in NFC because Aiden Hutchinson has 44 pressures and nobody else on that team has more than 19. And when you get a big lead, that's what you want. Now it's time to eat.
Yeah.
They had a 21-0 lead in the first quarter. It should be sacks and interceptions for the rest of the day. But no, they let the Saints, a mediocre team, come back on them because they cannot rush the pass.
So they are 9-3. So Rex, is there a big 3 or a big 4 in the NFC?
There's a big 3 right now, and here's the deal. I mean, you make a great point. 7 of their games, they've had 1 or less sacks in. So I get where you're coming from. But the season ain't over. And when we get to the playoff time, they're going to get 2 players back that are going to have a major impact. Gardner Johnson, the tremendous defensive back.
Yep.
All right, he's going to come back, great ball skills and all that. And oh, by the way, let's talk about pass rush. Let's talk about a kid that had 9.5 sacks in 7 games last year that was a rookie, James Houston.
They're definitely coming back?
I think he's coming back. And when he gets back, Bruce Irvin actually made a couple plays, 100 years old coming off the couch. I think they'll be right there if these 2 kids come back.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say the NFC is a big one. And I think San Francisco has separated itself. And then there's the 2 of Philadelphia and Dallas. And then there's this group. And Detroit is absolutely in that next group, them, Green Bay. I think with Detroit, if you watched them yesterday, offensively, you love the performance from Sam Laporta and the different places they're moving him around. Defensively, I wasn't overly disappointed in the pass rush. I was more disappointed in they could not stop Chris Olave, which was they couldn't cover him. But if you can continue to have Sam Laporta surge the way that he is surging, and their offensive line played better yesterday versus a good defensive front, I still think this team is one of those 4 best in the NFC.
What does it mean? What do we say about San Francisco this morning?
Clearly the best team in the National Football League. Not even close. Not even close. And I'll tell you why. Number one, they are so balanced as an entire football team. Might have the best offense in the league and certainly have the best defense in the league. They give up less points than anybody, if that means anything. And their quarterback is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so to me, yes, that's clearly the best team in the league.
Someone used the word, I forget who in our meeting this morning, they're the Monstars. Like you just, was it you who said that, Danny? I forget who used that term, but you said Debo and Ayuk and McCaffrey and Kittle and Trent Williams. You know, you send that team off the bus, that's a pretty intimidating looking group.
Yeah, it's the most talented roster in football. It's also the best coached roster in football. Kyle Shanahan was the difference last night. It was a masterclass when it came to how to attack a defense.
They had answers to everything. They attacked the zone in ways that Dan's going to point out later. And then if you want to man up against them, that's where the Monstars point comes into play. They're going to find a mismatch somewhere along the line. There just aren't enough good players on just about any defense in the league to man up against those guys. I
think last night, though, as much as it was about San Francisco, we got to talk about Philly, right? Like, we have to talk about Philly has issues. And I think we've, at least I have, overlooked them a little bit. I think, I'll start here. I've given Brian Johnson, their play call, a lot of credit for situational football. I think that's been really good. If I had to ask you guys, who is, right this year, who is Philadelphia on offense?
Jalen Hurts.
And A.J. Brown.
Well, they were A.J. Brown for a while, and then he has quieted a little bit.
You know, they're again, last night, their offensive line hasn't dominated this year like it did last year.
Right.
That was apparent last night. They ran the ball 9 times last night. They are 350. Kemba gave me this number. They have run the ball for 350 yards less this year at this point than they did last year.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about that great offensive line. That offensive line, right? How great they are.
It's not the same.
They gave up 26 pressures last night.
Yeah.
26, 21 on just a 4-man rush. So you're right, Dano. It's not the same.
It's not the same group, dominant-wise.
And I've been sitting back the whole time saying they've been outpointing people. They're like a guy that doesn't get any knockouts. And you know what? Eventually it catches up to you. What happened last night? They got knocked the heck out.
And doesn't it feel like they're pass happy at times? Like
yes.
And I know Sirianni's identity or philosophy is we're going to throw to score, run to win. I get all that. And maybe they felt like if they don't jump on San Francisco, to our point, like they can't stop them. But they come out so pass happy last night. And they did it last week as well. They just got away with it. And I think we have to be honest, and they have to be honest about like who they are, who they can be on offense. Are they too pass happy? Is it too A.J. Brown centric? Because offensively, they don't have an identity right now.
Hembo and I think alike. I mean, I was just putting up that stat. They had 9 rushing attempts from people who don't play quarterback in the game yesterday. The Eagles did. That said, can I just tap the brakes a touch on Philadelphia, because leading into last night's game, their last 3 games in inverse order were against Buffalo, Kansas City, and Dallas. Do we think those teams are all pretty
But what
good?
did we say about
They
it?
won all 3 games.
But what did we say about it, though? They found a way to win. Like,
Okay.
It was the quarterback
That's
being
the
very
objective.
clutch.
Right? The objective. Very rarely have I heard a team criticized for finding a way to win.
We're measuring them against what they were last year,
Amen.
and they aren't that. They are in the mix with the teams. Last year, they were head and shoulders above everyone else. Now they're in the mix. They have a chance, but I would not pick, if I had to pick one team in the NFC, it's not them right now, and I think I might even like the Cowboys more than them. We'll see when they play again.
Think Dallas going to beat them on Sunday?
I think they will. And that's when, remember, a few weeks ago, even after they beat Dallas, I said, yeah, let's see what happens. They're better than they are now. I think Dallas will close the gap. And look, they're going to. Dallas is going to win this game in Dallas next week. I believe it. And now we're really going to have some issues, aren't we?
I've gone back and forth on Jalen and his left knee. I really have. I've been like, they're not using as much quarterback run this year because they understand they don't need it right now, and they will use it when it's necessary. They win yesterday, they're the 1 seed. It's almost like the season's done for them, regular season-wise, and they didn't use it. So now I sit here and I go, there's got to be something that is a bigger issue with Jalen Hurts' left knee than that is being led on, because they're not using quarterback run, zone read nearly as much as they did offensively last year.
When the Eagles and Cowboys played each other 4 weeks ago, we all looked at the schedule and we said, wow, the Eagles have a tough road between now and then. They got to play Kansas City, they got to play Buffalo, they got to play San Francisco. If I had told you then they're going to come out of that stretch 2-1, would you have said that's pretty good?
Absolutely.
Not so bad. That's what they did. Let's also remember that the 49ers hadn't played since Thanksgiving. They had 10 days off.
Totally.
The Eagles were playing their 3rd game in 13 days. In the second half, they looked gassed. I don't need to explain to you, well, maybe I do need to explain to you football players that I think that the physical difference in that made an enormous difference. Do I think the 49ers are just going to bludgeon the Eagles like that if they meet again in the playoffs?
I don't think last night was
the
fluke.
same. I'm not saying it's a fluke, but it looked at the difference in physicality was extraordinary.
It was 13-6 at halftime.
That's what I'm saying. And then in the second half, it looked like they ran out of steam. Their defense just got blown over, I thought, in that second half.
I think you're right. The game's closer if they are on a neutral field and if all conditions are the same. But that's never how football works. And it's closer, and maybe they can pull it out in a late stretch. But also, they're going up against a much better defense than they've played recently in the 49ers. That's a tough game for them. It's a tough matchup for them.
Yes.
It's hard to look at that roster and say, well, we got that matchup here. I'm not as hard on their O-line as Dan is. I think they should run the ball more. I thought their O-line was pretty solid last night against that great defensive front. But that's the only place where I could consider they have an advantage.
O-line is solid, no doubt. I don't want to
Yeah.
What I'm saying, that offensive line was dominant last year. I go back to the NFC title game last year, and me and Marcus were doing tapes, and they were just blowing double teams off the ball. They haven't done that really this year.
And that's the Greeny's point. Maybe it's because.
And they didn't do it last night again.
Yeah, the biggest problem, though, is not their offense. It's their defense.
Yeah.
And here's, Himbo gave me this stat. They're dead last in third down defense.
Yeah.
Dead last.
It's tough.
All right? And I can sit back on the couch and tell you what coverage you're in. If I can do that from the couch, you don't think these teams, know exactly what you're in? That's part of their problem, too. It's not just the players. It's part of this system. They don't disguise. They don't challenge the offense.
Remember, the Eagles maintain they only have 2 losses. San Francisco has 3. Dallas has 3. Detroit has 3. They definitively need. Would you say the Eagles need home field advantage to be able to beat San Francisco?
No. I think the team that needs the 1 seed is Dallas. Dallas is a different team at home. It's a different team on that surface than anywhere else. So I think the team that needs the 1 seed is the Dallas Cowboys. It helps, but the 1 seed is Dallas.
I think every team needs the 1 seed. Why? Because of the bye week.
Exactly.
You want to get fresh.
Yeah,
you want to do
that's
all
a good
that.
point.
Everybody
And also-
needs that bye week.
Only one bye week.
Jason Kelce, in his own words, said last night, we're not good enough. Still a very good football team.
Oh, yeah.
But they got to be honest about the way that they have played over the last 5 weeks and who they are and how they got to fix some stuff.
I'll repeat that. In those weeks, they beat Miami, they beat Buffalo, they beat Kansas City, and they beat Dallas over the last 5 weeks. I don't know what to tell you. They lost their 2nd game of the season yesterday. Okay, we'll have more on them as we go. Let's do Sunday superlatives. Let's run around the league. Dan, who was the most impressive to you this weekend?
Yeah, Shane Steichen and the Indianapolis Colts. Playing a game, Tennessee, tough with Mike Vrabel. And they found a way to win again. Gardner Minshew, with everybody who wants to say he's this or that, he wins. And this team lost their first-round quarterback early on in the season, and I was like, maybe they're done. Shane Steichen, they've got ability to score on offense. They are in December and in the playoff conversation. An incredible win to keep their playoff hopes alive.
And no one's more fun to watch celebrate than Gardner Minshew. Neek, what was your favorite moment yesterday?
And I'll remind you that wins is not a quarterback stat, but it's a receiver stat. Tyreek Hill is the MVP of the league. He's going to be the first receiver to get 2,000 yards. He is unguardable, and he's also an incredible choreographer. These celebrations are great. Let's get on a roller coaster.
Oh, no.
Get safe. Get safe first. Safety first. So much fun. A roller coaster of TDs for Tyreek Hill.
I agree.
That was sick.
I loved it. Rex, biggest disappointment.
Same game right here. Hey,
Same play.
I got one thing. Tugboat Ron. Do you watch tape? Do you watch tape?
Tugboat.
All right? All Miami does 100% of the time in empty is have number 2 run a vertical route. You're the only one that doesn't know it. Everybody in the stadium knows it. I'm watching from the couch and know that's the only route they run on that side.
Can we take
come in, you're the last one in, first one to leave. Give me a break.
Can we take a second to celebrate Rex? Because, I mean, sometimes coaches come on TV and they try to protect their own. Rex is going after Bill. He's going after Tugboat. He went after Brandon Staley.
Everybody.
Rex don't give a damn. Anybody can get it from Rex.
What did you call Brandon Staley?
The equalizer.
D3 coach?
Equalizer.
Oh, man. Me and Dan come in here. We come at your neck a little bit, but we're not going to completely.
I got no filter because I tell the truth. And when I'm seeing this right here, like I literally can't stand seeing it. When I can sit back and see empty, and I know the one route you get on the 3-man side, and you know, it had to surprise the heck out of the quarterback because he's always looking at number 2 running the option on the 2 receiver side. Are you kidding me? Boom!
They actually had the safety. The safety was actually shading away from Tyreek.
Oh yeah, they know where they're going to run it. It's the darndest thing I've ever seen.
Rex Ryan, national treasure. We continue in